A very good evening and welcome to Prime TV News, coming to you live and direct from the Prime TV studios with me, Abrar Abid. Now, before we go into our stories in detail, let's take a look at our headlines. New foreign diplomats assure Sri Lanka continued support. Prime Minister says a fair, equitable judicial process will be re-established. Former High Court Judge Padmini Ranawaka provides statement to CCD. GSP Plus tax concession to Sri Lanka will continue until 2023. Number of cases jumps as virus spreads to new cities. In our lead story, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has pointed out to foreign diplomats the need to further strengthen education, development, technology and agriculture relations with Sri Lanka. He made this reference when 5 newly appointed diplomats handed over their credentials. The newly appointed diplomats handed in their credentials to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the President's house. Jasim bin Jabir Jasim Sarur is the new ambassador to Qatar in Sri Lanka who handed in his credentials to the President. The new ambassador of Turkey to Sri Lanka is Rakbe Demet Sikirsioglu. Retired Major General Mohammad Saad Katak presented his credentials as the new High Commissioner of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan to Sri Lanka. Jean-Claude Cugunner handed over his credentials as the new ambassador of Luxembourg to the President. The new ambassador of the Republic of Slovenia, Dr. Marjan Senin, also handed in his credentials to the President. New diplomats assured the President that Sri Lanka and their countries are committed to further strengthening the long-standing ties in new areas. In more news at home, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa emphasizes that everyone has the responsibility to restore respect and confidence in the judiciary. The Prime Minister said this while participating in a discussion with the heads of electronic media at Temple Trees today. The Prime Minister and ministers have responded to the queries raised by the heads of the electronic news media. The Prime Minister said that the Presidential Commission will be informed to inquire into the seriousness in the enforcement of law during the previous government, especially through the voice tapes. He said that actually, if a judge was told to sentence a person to death, the judge and the person who made the request to the judge should be sentenced to death. It has been clearly found that there has been interference in the judiciary during the previous regime. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that a fair and equitable judicial process will be re-established in the country to replace the imposed law. Venerable Professor Nelue Sumanavanchatera, Chief Incumbent of Sri Purvarama Dharma Vijaya Pirivena in South Kalutara, has been appointed as the Chief Sanganayaka of the Bentara chapter of the Kotte Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha. A ceremony to fete the Thera was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The Anunayaka of the Kotte Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha, the Venerable Professor Kotapitiye Rahula Thera, presented the Sannas Patra to the Thera. The Vijnipatra was presented by the Prime Minister. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said that he thinks that everyone from the top to the bottom should be responsible for whatever has happened. He said that they saw how the judiciary was influenced to take decisions. This clearly indicates as to how far the trust placed in the judiciary had been breached. The Prime Minister said that on one hand, if these were not revealed, they would not be aware of it. If they entering the courtroom, they discuss the matter with the lawyers. It is the tradition. No one goes alone to the room and talks with the judges. He said that his son Yoshita was in remand prison for 46 days. It is now clear as to who did it. The Prime Minister said that a fair and equitable judicial process will be re-established in the country to replace the imposed law. He emphasized that the government is not prepared to influence the judiciary as they are aware of its seriousness. Anunayaka of the Kotte Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha, the Venerable Professor Kotapitiye Rahula Thera, said that a former minister of this country had seriously impacted the culture. He said that the culture in the country has been built among the trust between each other. The function organized under the patronage of State Minister Rohita Abegunawardena was attended by a large gathering including the clergy and the laity. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has mentioned that the main objective of the government is to rebuild the economy that has suffered a setback within the past 4 years. The Prime Minister said that the government would intervene to bring normalcy to stock market which has suffered a setback. The Prime Minister made this statement during a meeting with brokers at the Colombo Stock Exchange. The stock market has suffered a serious crash in the last 4 years. A large number of brokerages have closed and may have lost their jobs. Brokerage firms have also paid close attention to the delayed Collective Act for various reasons. The Prime Minister emphasized that privatizing state institutions is not the policy of the government for any reason. It was suggested that foreign investment by foreign companies would increase the share market. Still in local news, former High Court Judge Padmini Ranawaka visited the Colombo Crimes Division today to make a statement on the controversial telephone recordings. The Attorney General advised the statements to be obtained from the relevant judges regarding the alleged telephone conversation with MP Ramanayaka. Accordingly, former High Court Judge Padmini Ranawaka arrived at the Colombo Crimes Division today to record a statement following its notification. High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya yesterday gave a statement to the Criminal Investigations Division for more than 5 hours. Speaking at a news conference held at the opposition leader's office yesterday, MP Dr. Harsha De Silva stated that the GSP Plus tax concession has not been extended. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga, who participated in the independent television news morning program, in a response that the EU has decided to grant the tax concession until 2023. Dr. Harsha De Silva said that he was the person who played a key role in obtaining the GSP Plus concession. When Minister Mangala Samaravira was handling the political side of the Foreign Ministry, he said that he was entrusted the task of handling the economic affairs. As such, he said that he is fully aware of the GSP Plus affair. No extension of the GDP Plus has taken place. Sri Lanka will enjoy it for several years after it reaches the middle-income country status.
GSP plus සහනය ලැබෙන්නේ අඩු ආදායම්
Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that the GSP plan status is being accorded to a low-income country and it is being removed when the country reaches a middle-income status. Considering this position, action was taken to accord the GSP plus status during the previous regime. This was the reason as to why Dr. Harsha De Silva claimed that before the last election that the GSP plus concession will be cancelled once Gotabaya Rajapaksa becomes the president. But nothing of that sort happened. The minister said that the ambassador for the European Union met him and pointed out that the GSP Plus concession will be extended to Sri Lanka until 2023. The minister added that what he expected was something good to happen to Sri Lanka. UNP parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman says that there is a major crisis within the UNP leadership. Addressing a media conference held at the party headquarters, Sirikota, he said that discussions are in progress to resolve the dispute. Although such views were expressed at the media briefing held at the Sirikota party head office, parliamentarian Ravindra Samaravira, expressing views at a news briefing held at the opposition leader's office, said that a majority of the parliamentary group had expressed views that Ranil Wickremesinghe had informed that he would resign. Meanwhile, State Minister Rohita Abegunawardena, speaking at a news conference held at the Nelum Mawatha party office, expressed views on Sajid Premadasa, who has been proposed for the leadership. Former JVP MP Samantha Vidyaratna too expressed his views on the crisis. Payment of compensation for damages caused to crops during last year's Maha season will be paid from today. Director General of the Agricultural Insurance Board, Panduka Veerasinghe, said that 60 million has been allocated for this purpose. The Director General of the Agriculture Insurance Board said that the calculation of compensation for 2018 to 2019 with respect to the damages caused to compensation had been completed. Accordingly, a sum of 600 million rupees for the payment of compensation has been released by the Treasury. Accordingly, the release of compensation to be handed over to the recipients is being credited to the commercial banks from today. Farmers are in a position to secure their compensation from these banks from within this week. If the accounts of any of the farmers had not been credited by this Friday, it is better they could intimate this to the nearest agent of the Agricultural Insurance Board. In more news at home, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has decided to grant a general amnesty to all those who have left the service for the first time in the history of the civil defence and have not returned to work due to various reasons. Rear Admiral Ananda Peris, Director General of Civil Defence Force, said this at a news conference held in Colombo. Rear Admiral Ananda Peris pointed out that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has taken the decision to grant a general amnesty to all members of the Civil Defence Force who had not reported to service. The application will be published in the newspapers, and those members who had left the service can fill the applications forms and submit them before the 20th of next month. These could be handed over to the regional officers or to the head office. A board will take up the applications for consideration and take action to reinstate them. Those who had served for more than 10 years will not have an issue in receiving their pensions. In more news at home, the Supreme Court today granted a summary judgment to hear fundamental rights petitions against former president and former Prime Minister and other parties for failing to prevent the terrorist attack on Easter Sunday. The Supreme Court granted May 12th, 13th and 14th to consider those fundamental rights petitions. 12 fundamental rights petitions have been filed against the parties involved. The Supreme Court was informed today that the Attorney General will not appear on behalf of former President Maithripala Sirisena and former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. 2 private lawyers appeared from them today. The Supreme Court ordered respondents to file objections against the petition by the 6th of March. Petitioners were ordered to file objections on the 27th of March. Meanwhile, former IGP Pujit Jayasundara and former Defence Secretary Hemasuri Fernando, who have been sent on compulsory leave, have been further remanded. Colombo Additional Magistrate Priyanta Lienage ordered that the suspects be remanded till the 3rd of February. The Criminal Investigations Department informed the court that statements have been recorded from 11 specific individuals regarding the incident. Among them is former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is also in the picture. The government is focusing on providing a novel experience to Sri Lanka's transport service by launching an environmentally friendly cable car transport service. China Railway Group Limited has submitted a proposal to Minister Mahinda Amaravira to launch a cable car service called Site Hanging Car System. The plan is to provide transportation through a motor car network operating as a single tram car built on a tower. Minister Mahinda Amaravira instructed the Secretary to the Ministry, Gamini Seniviratna, to take necessary steps to implement this project. 11 persons can travel in this electric-powered vehicle at a time. The initial project is expected to be implemented from Kottava to Petta. It will help ease traffic congestion along the high-level road. It is hoped to provide a secure and convenient transport service to commuters. In more news at home, the Hungama police are investigating into the motor accident that killed 4. Meanwhile, a bus has collided with the Ruhunukumari train. The accident occurred last night at Batata in the Hungama area on the Colombo-Kataragama main road. A private bus plying from Kalutara to Nonagama collided with a tipper travelling from Hungama to Ranne. According to Hungama police, 4 residents of the Nonagama area were killed in the accident. The injured were admitted to the Tengol base hospital. A bus collided with the Ruhunukumari train. At the time of the incident, only the driver had been in the bus. He sustained injuries and has been hospitalized. The accident happened at around 7:15 this morning in the Venamulla area at Madampe in Ambalanguda. Meanwhile, 2 people were killed and 1 seriously injured in an accident near Galigamua Central College on the Colombo-Kandy main road. The accident occurred when a bus and a 3-wheeler collided. A 26-year-old young woman and a 21-year-old youth were killed in the accident. 5 suspects, including 3 foreigners who were arrested in the Kollupitia area along with a stock of heroin, were ordered to be remanded until the 31st of this month. The order was issued by Fort Magistrate Ranga Disanaika. The magistrate also instructed the Narcotics Bureau to remind the Attorney General of the incident. The suspects were arrested by the Police Narcotics Bureau and the Special Task Force on a tip-off received by the STF. Americans and Afghans are among foreigners. And that is all the news for today. Do join us again tomorrow for the very latest. For the Prime TV News team, I'm Abrar Abid. A very good evening and take care.